Today I'm going to talk about 6th grade curriculum for my soon-to-be 11-year-old. He's more independent with his schooling, so he does a lot of work that doesn't involve me. But we do some like family kind of subjects together. And so with language arts, he has been using Night Zookeeper. I want him to find his voice. I want him to be able to figure out how to write and to express himself and to be creative, because I think figuring out the structure of writing and grammar and all that, that doesn't take very long to do. But finding your voice and being able to express yourself is much harder to do, because a lot of people get too stuck on the mechanics that they don't find their voice. And so writing becomes hard and difficult, or a task that they don't like. That's why we use Night Zookeeper, because it's a creative writing program and it's all online. And there are like tutors or teachers on there that review my son's work and gives them suggestions on how to improve. And it also includes like grammar, yeah, there is some grammar in there as well, but spelling and vocabulary, but it's all in a very fun way to tackle writing, I guess, and something where I'm not telling him what to do. He's creating his own stories, and the writing teachers help him with what he's doing. My son's, he's starting middle school, so Night Zookeeper, maybe he's going to start aging out of it. So then I'm thinking about signing him up for Brave Writer classes, their online classes. So I just feel like it's better for our relationship. Other people teach him subjects that he tends not to want to learn with me. So that's just my experience. So in addition to Night Zookeeper, we're also doing Brave Writer right here. I like to use partnership writing with my my oldest son, and we also dropped something. We also use the Arrow. I don't do all the books that they have listed. I just only get the books that my son is interested in reading. So they have a big library of arrows that you can just purchase individual ones, which we do through our charter school. And so that's it for writing and for language arts. All right, so you get to see a little bit of the chaos that's back here with this bookshelf. We need to, I don't know about you, but do you ever have like towards the end of the year, everything is kind of in a disarray, and I just need to reorganize everything, but I just haven't gotten there yet because, you know, life is busy. We just got back from visiting my parents, and we have a bunch of other projects that we're working on as well. So with math, we do Beast Academy, and my son prefers the online version, so we're keeping with that. He's almost done, which then once that happens, I'm gonna have to figure out what other math he can do. I don't know, can middle school kids take high school math? I think so. In addition to that, which is why we're out here, is these lovely books. So my goal is to teach my son. Can you hear my kids fighting? Teach my son some life skills. And I came across these books from Cami, who is on YouTube. She's Cami K Lifestyle. And on Instagram, you probably know her as the Intuitive Homeschooler. And I am part of her Patreon group, and she is very active on there, and I love it. And she's made some awesome suggestions. Wow, did you guys hear that? That was my younger daughter screaming at my middle child, my son, because he was playing with my Pilates ball. And she didn't want him to do that. So yeah, she likes to tell her big brothers what they can and cannot do. So that's been a challenge in our house lately. I just wanted to show you the chaos that is my house at the moment, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate when it comes to homeschooling. It can get pretty messy. I prefer less things, and it's just this year we've accumulated a collection, and we need to reorganize that. So stay tuned for future videos. I'll probably share with you how I'm going to declutter our space and redecorate and stuff. All right, so I do have a donation pile that's already started, and hopefully we'll add more to it soon. But I feel like it's like an ongoing thing. My kids and my husband tend to accumulate a lot of stuff. I, on the other hand, try not to accumulate too many things. Like I keep very few books. I'm always donating them. So I'm trying to encourage my kids to do the same, but it's hard for them to let go. And I think with my husband growing up, being in a military family, moving every couple of years, minimalist, because they had to be minimalists. They didn't pack a lot. They didn't own a lot because they were constantly moving. And so I feel like my husband tends to keep things because he didn't have so much when he was younger. And then also he tends to buy things for the kids, even though they don't really need it because he didn't get a lot when he was younger. So things to unpack there. So let me talk about history, which is my favorite subject. As you know, I used to be a history teacher and I was also an AVID coordinator at a middle school. So middle school, that's like my jam. That's my thing. We are going to cover US history this year. We slowly worked through California history the past 2 years. And so now we're going to enter US history territory, and I plan on using the new History Quest US history book, which I can't wait to get. I look forward to it. Just know that there's no perfect curriculum out there. There's not going to be a perfect US history curriculum. I'm going to supplement. As you know, my husband and I are both half Asian, and so rarely do I ever come across a history curriculum that's going to talk a lot about the Asians that have immigrated to this country. And so I am going to supplement that information so that my kids can understand the Asian experience in America. So that's my say on the topic. We're also going to do History of Us. I got that on audiobook. And I know the History of the US, or History of Us. Was it History of US or History of Us? I'm not sure. I know that it's not perfect. History is so vast. When you study history, you can be so specific. That's like historians study specific little tiny topics and they write books and papers about it. And it's like, you're not going to be able to cover everything in a very general history curriculum. I like referring to other websites like Beautiful Feet Books and Carrier Shell Curriculum for their book lists, because they have awesome book lists for their classes and their programs. And so I often refer to that and use what seems applicable to what we are studying and doing. And then from those book lists, I go to Brave Writer and see if they have any arrows or darts or I forgot what the other one's called because I haven't gotten to that level yet for the older kids. Anyways, I see if any of those are available for the books that we would read. So yeah, I think reading historical fiction really helps bring history alive, along with field trips. I'm a big proponent of field trips. If you've seen my video on letters from afar, you know that we use that for geography. We also use universal yums to study geography, but other countries. And then I also got this book here, which I think I featured it on the last haul. I'm not going to use the whole book because that would just be too much. We're only going to use, it's a workbook. We're only going to use, whatever my son needs. I think he needs a little extra work on. We move slowly through our study of history. And I do that because I feel I can do better deep dives that way. I don't like to rush through it, and I just kind of go at my kids' pace. And so I did get this book to help us with the Constitution. I think we'll get there. I'm not too sure. I mean, we're going to start with the first people, the indigenous people, before we get to colonialism. Moving on. If you've seen my other video about Generation Genius, that is something that we utilize in our homeschool. But in addition to that, we will use our mel chemistry kits. And then also I have a lot of like science kits that I've collected that we haven't really opened yet. And so we'll just use those. I need to use them all up so that we can just move on with our lives and get rid of stuff, because there's a lot that we've collected over time. I'll probably send my son to a science class because that's what he's been doing this past year and he's really enjoyed it. So I'll probably continue with that. You know, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to teach everything. You can have other people teach your kids too. And that's homeschool as well. All right, so I think it's important to show like real life, like the chaos of homeschooling. I mean, at least in my house, it can get pretty chaotic at times with 3 kids, you know, big age difference between my oldest and my youngest, and, you know, sibling dynamics and the messes that they make, but they always clean up at the end of the night. But I just think it's important to share that online, because I just feel everything is always so perfect online and life is not perfect. On that topic, let me show you our accumulation of TalkBox Mom, because even though we started the subscription at the beginning of the year, we didn't get to it until like just a month or 2 ago. So we have a lot of boxes. So art, we do a lot of their online courses. So we use art history kits for art history. We use Masterpiece Society, her art classes, Alicia's art classes. We do You Are an Artist for, you know, chalk pastels with Nana. That's great if you have any perfectionists in your home, like my middle son. He's a bit of a perfectionist and he gets frustrated with art very easily. So chalk pastels works really well with him. Okay, now let's start talking about PE. My son has expressed interest in skateboarding, so he does have a skateboard, a helmet. He skateboards, but he's not consistent with it. So I think we're gonna work on goal setting and other life skills so that he can meet the expectations that he puts upon himself. Kids have lofty goals and they need us to help them learn about how to tackle those goals. They're just not gonna come up with it themselves. I think humans, we want to take the easiest route. So we're going to be working on doing challenging things sometimes. So besides skateboarding, my kids really enjoy swimming. So they've been taking swim lessons this year. I'm not sure if we'll continue. Maybe we'll continue till next year. And possibly, if he's interested, do swim team or surfing lessons. I think that would be awesome. But that may just be me projecting my interests onto him, and I need to like stop doing that. I'm almost done, Ari. All right. So always running away, trying to find some quiet. Recently, we went to go visit an Agile Learning center. It's kind of like a Sudbury school. And my kids really loved it a lot. And I'm seeing it more as like an enrichment kind of a thing. I mean, we're unschool-ish, sort of, not really. We do deep dives. I follow my kids' interests, but I still have a lot of direction in their learning, I should say. So anyways, this Agile Learning Center is just going to be kind of an enrichment thing for the kids to do. When we went to go visit, my sons were ready to sign up right then and there and join that day. But of course we were gonna do, I forget, what's it called? It's small brain not working. I didn't drink all my tea today. We're gonna spend a day there to see if the kids like it and if they mesh well and if they can handle all the freedom that they're gonna have there and get along with the others as well. And so hopefully they are good to go, and then we can sign them up for next year. The chaos. Rocks. You see these? We did a deep dive on geology, and my husband was up in the mountains fishing and he brought home a bunch of rocks. So we just have a ton of rocks laying all around our house. I need to find a home for them. So anyways, that's it for this video on curriculum choices for my son, who will be in 6th grade next school year. I like to have a lot of resources available and then just see when the time comes, what's going to be feasible or what he's going to be in the mood for. Like, I would love him to take these classes, but maybe he doesn't want to. So I just have to accept that. If you're finding value in this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and hit that bell as well. And I will see you in the next one.